In 1521, the Spanish conquistadores had finally vanquished the magnificent Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, and they began constructing Mexico City on the rubble of its formidable temples and pyramids. To protect their new center of power in the New World from flooding, the Spanish expanded its land area, filled the canals in between the Chinampas, drained northern Lake Zumpango, and built elevated roadways. As Mexico City grew, it developed two contrasting identities, the city of palaces and the city of poverty. The wealthier inhabitants commissioned grand homes, while thousands of residents, most of them indigenous people or poor Spaniards, lived on the city's perimeter in slums long beset with major epidemics. In the 20th century, Mexico City's population exploded, growing to 600,000 in 1921, mostly as a result of the rural migration during the Mexican Revolution. Refugees from the Spanish Civil War contributed to similar growth as Mexico City grew to 1.5 million by 1940. In the second half of the 20th century, the city experienced additional rapid growth largely fueled by domestic migration. In 1968, Mexico City hosted the Summer Olympics, hoping to highlight the country's economic successes. Instead, the occasion became a venue for dissent, culminating with the Tlatelolco massacre. Security forces fired upon student protesters 10 days before the Olympics began, killing as many as 300. During the 1980s, the city experienced an economic crisis known as the Lost Decade, with large-scale factory closings and layoffs, as well as a decline in rural to urban migration. In 1985, a severe earthquake struck the capital, killing several thousand residents. Nevertheless, at the beginning of the 21st century, Mexico City stands as the economic, cultural, and transportation hub of the country, with 20 million people living in its metropolitan area. However, its massive population and concentration of industry have infamously fouled the city's air. Despite modernization, Mexico City retains traces of its roots. The historic city center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, contains more than 1,400 buildings, which date from the 16th to the 19th centuries. Early canals also survive, which allow tourists to visit the city's remaining Aztec chinampas. The main temple of the Aztecs, the Templo Mayor, is the city's chief archaeological site. The Metropolitan Cathedral, built from the late 16th to the early 19th centuries, presents a mixture of the Renaissance, Baroque, and neoclassical architectural styles. Millions of pilgrims and tourists have climbed the hill of Tepeyac to visit the old and new basilicas that serve as shrines to Our Lady of Guadalupe. The capital city also has notable examples of secular art reflecting Mesoamerican, European, and Mexican socio-political themes. In addition to housing its collection of paintings and sculpture, the Palace of Fine Arts functions as a venue for dance and musical performances. The National Palace and other public structures are graced by murals created by artists such as David Alfaro Siqueiros, Diego Rivera, and Juan O'Gorman. Private galleries dedicated to such artists as Frida Kahlo have become major attractions. The house and studio of the architect Luis Barragan was designated a World Heritage Site in 2004.